All right, hey guys. Well, we're the football commentators. I'm Darius, along with Simon,
What's up?
and I don't think anybody expected us to do this.
Yeah, I know. I know. Feels weird doing it the first episode anyway. It's always a weird start.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, how about let's to show people who we are. Let's talk about ourselves a bit.
All right. So I'll start myself. So I'm Simon. Right. I'm actually a football fan here in Singapore. So a bit about me. I support LCS here locally in Singapore. For those who do not know, it's called the LionsXII Sailors, the first privatized club in Singapore. And like Darius, I'm also a Man United fan here in Singapore. So we're just running this football channel to talk about football, SPL, and some of our favorite clubs and all things football. But we are coming from a very neutral perspective on all things football here in Singapore.
Yeah, I think it'll be super chill. That's what Simon said. We are LCS fans, we are also Man United fans, but we would love to comment more on, overall of the Singapore Premier League and of course in the future other leagues as well.
Yeah. Correct. Speaking of Singapore football, have you heard the news recently about the sacking?
I think it is our first episode.
Okay.
So we definitely have to talk about the sacking of now ex-manager Risto.
Yeah.
So any thoughts, Simon?
I think it was shocking. I didn't expect it to come that soon. In fact, I felt that he was doing a decent job. In fact, I think he was doing quite okay. Even though not top of the table, but I think games like Young Lions cost him the job lah. I feel that. Yeah, but it came as a surprise because we are almost done with this. We're 3/4 away through the season, and you sack a manager.
Yeah,
a bit.
So my personal point of view was that this decision have to has made a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
I do know that he did
correct.
sign a short-term contract, but
okay.
I think that the decision to sack him happened a while ago already. So,
wow.
Any specific thoughts on that?
Wow. Why are you so sure it happened a few months ago?
I mean, because if you look at our recently track history, we did win against Albrechts. We also did get into the Asian Champions League.
Correct.
So from a logical standpoint, having good results, even though at the current moment we are second.
Yeah. Correct.
We're second in the league. But we're doing decent. We're doing a decent job. He did a decent job. So I think not just us, but for maybe the majority of LionsXII Sailors fans and for the league itself, came as quite of a shock lah.
Yeah.
So I would say that the decision has been made a while ago. Like I'll give it tops maybe a month.
But I think it's not a very good thing because as an LCS fan, I think we know each other through the games and over the years. You're looking at a trend that's happening right now. You started with Aurelio Vidmar. He came in, said he wanted to push his vision, and then he suddenly got an offer from BG and took the offer and then went off.
Yeah.
And then after you Kim Don who did really well for the ACR, I would say he outperformed it. In fact, that win against Daegu and so on, it really showed that we could. But yet he also got sacked.
Yeah.
And then now you have Risto coming in playing nice football, right? You can see the players playing around with quite good credible, yet he also got sacked. There must be something wrong with the club that they're doing right now that is not working, because how can we become a revolving door of managers? We have lost 3 managers from 2020. It's only 3 years if we include the pandemic as well.
Yeah.
Right. We have lost 3 really, really good managers. And yes, whether he came a month ago, I'm not sure, but I was surprised that they actually give him a short-term contract. I thought someone like Risto could have gotten a 2.5 or a 3-year contract. But from my point of view, if to replace someone right now, they must have started the work a long time ago to really find that replacement, because you don't just sack a man without replacement or job or anything like that. So the only way they can actually do it is that they must have scouted someone 3 or 4 months back, or maybe even longer than that, and you see that now there is a chance to hire him. And to hire him right now, that means this guy must be a European, because Europe is the only league right now with an off season. So to be able to do that, they must have already planned him a long time ago.
Okay. Yeah. I totally agree with you. I think that I guess that he wasn't a long-term vision for the club. I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah.
Even though it seems when they first signed him,
correct,
sounded like he's a great person to bring the club forward. Yeah. But with the fact that they only gave him a 1-year contract,
okay,
tells you a lot that the club only had him at the maximum of a year.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. But I'm surprised they actually give him a very short contract. But looking at his track record as well, if you go transfer market, he actually don't stay at the club very long. So 1 to 2 years, 1 to 2 years, 1 to 2 years. So I'm interested who LCS is going to bring in as their new manager, because the next question is how long is he going to stay here? Looking at Vidmar was like a year, Kim Do-hoo also a year, then Risto I think barely a year.
I do have to say that, coming back to Kim Do-hoon first, which is we did win. We were the first local team to win it in a long time. Win the Singapore Premier League in a long time.
Yeah.
And of course, we did very well for that period of time, right after the pandemic, which was about 2020 to 2021.
Yeah, correct.
So, when he did get sacked midway through the 2021 season, I don't think he did a bad job at all. It could, once again, I said, I always think that it's internal affairs and the direction that the club is going that is leading to this revolving doors.
Could it also be that they well, just my point of view, right? I just feel that this current generation of players are just holding the fort. They are there to do their job, but nothing more. Because really, if you look at the players right now, you want to look at the next generation of younger players, the people coming through the academy, the people going through, these are the real players that's coming through. So Risto sacking is in a way not a good thing, because I think you might have seen the article recently from Straits Times about Haris, right?
Yep.
He posted about him liking the way Risto plays and the style of play, right? And I think he is incorporating a good philosophy, but how would the new guy come in and continue on from that? We will know. Yeah.
I totally agree. I think that the change, if you're looking at the long term, if what you're putting to cultivate younger players, right? This new manager also has to be someone that gives opportunity to young players.
Correct.
So I think recently we had a very young debutant, the youngest one actually, 15 years and I think a few.
Which one? Nathan Mao.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's great for him.
Yeah.
It's great to be given that title first and foremost.
Correct. But I think it's not just about Nathan Mao, but I think more importantly is we need these young players, because honestly our Singapore national team is horrible. I mean, it's true.
Let's not.
It's true. But we'll leave that topic for another day, right? We'll just focus on LCS today, right? So if you want to find out more about national team and our point of view, come and catch us in a future episode, right? But right now, back to LCS thing. I think Darius, on your point of view, about Risto, I got this feeling that he is a good manager. They had a good squad, and they're building to something. But being third in the table is not acceptable right now, because if you look at the SPL table, you have Tampines Rovers, who are not as rich as us. In fact, they don't even have our money. And then you have Albrechts, who are, run by Kezu, right? But they have a string of J3 Japanese style players that are playing in Singapore. Yet they are still doing better than us.
I'm going to stop you there to say that they may be J3 players,
but they're still better than us.
They are still better than us.
Yes, which is true.
You can't deny the fact that, if you put it in the harsh way, those J3 players are coming over to Singapore to just play in a farmers league.
Okay, fair enough. But
except for that one season.
Fair enough. But here lies the problem that you are a privatized company making millions of dollars, or rather spending millions of dollars in this club. Yeah, you can't beat Tampines Rovers. A little bit shocking, right? It's not like, and who do they have? What? Faris Ramli, Boris Kapitovic, Kyoga, and Taufik Soprano, who always appears on the news. Yeah, Yasir Hanapi, and so on. Right? You see this type of people, and they're second on the table. It just so there must be something wrong with that. I mean that is the issue that we have right now. If we have a revolving door, we will not have the consistency to challenge all the time. Look at okay, a good example. Right? Yes, Tampines is above us, but the reason they're above us is because they have a stable manager in Gavin.
Yep.
Gavin has been there for a period of time. People understand his philosophy, the way he plays, and when he slides a new player in, it becomes easy to fill the gap that's already there. Whereas a new manager means a new system, a new way of playing, a new style of doing things, which is going to take a while to really bed in. So a little bit, I'm wanting to see how the new guys coming in, especially with ACL next season. Yeah.
So I agree with you again. I do think that it will take time to incorporate his philosophy. Sorry. I think that with Coach Kim Do-hoon, during that period, we did have a good philosophy. We did well, like I said, both in the ACL and both in the SPL as well. Correct. After his sacking, due to, I assume, unforeseen circumstances, when they brought in Risto, I still do not think that he was a long-term plan. I do think that right now we are in a rebuilding stage. So we, unfortunately, I can say, not really challenging for the title as hard as I think. But I think that you still have time to go ahead and change around your squad. Because if you look at, we brought in Risto after the end of last season. We also let a lot of big players go. Big players from the local scene, especially players such as Gable Quack, Faris Ramli, of course, Hassan Sani as well. So these names, they are not big names. They're not Maxime, Lastin, Diego Lopez, but they are big names, in my opinion, in the local scene, which I would say brings to my next point, which is local football also kind of dying, if you put it that way. If we're bringing so many local imports, like what you say on the national team, what do you think are we doing? Are we like not doing to help our local players?
Wow, this is a tough subject. I think the football scene is slowly coming back. Right? It takes a while. Forget the days of the pre-94s where you have Fandi Ahmads and so on, and the mid-90s, early 2000s where you have Alamshas and so on. We are at a stage of time where, we are moving somewhere, but we are moving at a very slow pace. Right? There is a lot more access right now. If you look online, you have things like YCL. You have LCS training camps overseas in Netherlands, in Holland, and so on. Teams are going overseas to play, right? Tanjung Pagar, Balestier, and so on. And you can see the quality of the players are coming in are better. But what we really need to revive the league is another privatized club, right? And we need to improve the facilities and the qualities of the game. Because take a very simple example. You look at the pitch and Bishan, it's not even the best playing quality, right? You have holes everywhere, right? You look at Hougang Stadium, it's barely playable there. We are just barely.
It's not even barely, man.
I'm being very nice, okay? Barely playable there. You look at pitches like Jurong East, right? These are pitches that we need to do something about it. You need to improve the quality of not only the football pitches, the training facilities, the coaches, and of course the refs as well. All of these need to be improved across the board. But yes, I understand that FAS has one of the lowest budgets in the whole Southeast Asia. This was done by a podcast by Bernard Tan. So they're limited in what they can do to provide the facilities. So that's why I feel privatization is the way forward, because LCS has done it with a $10 million facility. The next club we need to find another club to get privatized. And if you miss the news on that, the next possibility is actually Geylang.
Right, with the city.
No.
No, is that?
No. They have a new entrepreneur who got on board as a vice president of the team. Okay. Right. And they say that he could be privatizing the club soon. There is a possibility. So Geylang could be the next club being privatized. And as much as they are a competitive team right now, with privatization, they can do really, really well. Imagine giving Noor Ali the money. Right, to go out and sign a good foreign player, build good facilities, and train their young people like Joshua Pereira.
But I do think if Geylang do get the money, I don't think Noah Lee's staying.
Yeah, but I'm just being nice, okay? But we never know. But they have a squad that can actually do quite well with the money that they have, right?
Yep.
So that's what we need for the league, a privatization. I can go on more about that, but what about you? What do you think?
Once again, I agree with you. I think privatization would definitely bring any club forward. Shown by Home United FC back in the days. Now we are called LionsXII Sailors. Both in terms of branding and in terms of the quality of the players and stadiums and whatsoever, right, will definitely improve.
Yeah.
But there's a big risk when it comes to privatization, which is you invest a lot of money into this. What are the chances you get it back as well? But of course, that's a separate topic in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, which is I think people do this not for the money lah. Right? If you really want to do for money, you're investing in the wrong club. Right? Singapore Premier League is really you throw in money is burn. No chance you get your money back.
But you gotta put it this way lah. Where in Singapore something no matter where the money comes in, it's an investment somewhere.
Correct. But the question is, we cannot just stagnate and not do, because now you have one super team, you have one good Albrecht's team that is bringing in Japanese players which are filtering into the league, helping our system and so on. We need another one because we need a competitive level. Take a look at Malaysia. JDT has dominated the league for over a decade. That's because they have the money. No one else can fight them financially.
Yep.
Right? We may not be at the level of JDT, but I can say if we have another club that's privatizing, it will make our league very competitive because you have two options to try to fight. And the best players will say, hey, I don't need LCS, I can go Geylang.
Yep.
Right? Or in future, maybe Tampines get privatized as well. I can go Tampines or so on. This will provide a much more competitive option.
I think I agree with you. But coming back to the point, I do remember like a video, I think it was on the Yahoo one as well, where she was saying like, in order to get these sponsors or investment players, it's like, I remember the guy just saying like, oh, you have to show us that you cultivate young players so that it'll be good. But the club will then say like, oh no, you need to give us money so that we can build facilities for these young players.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a push and pull.
Correct.
Where I feel that the sponsors' investments are not gonna give money if they got nothing to show for. But what the players are saying was like, no, if you give us money, then we can actually start to have better facilities so that we can improve and perform. It's once again a push and pull.
Yeah, but
so I feel that's why it's a bit slower when it comes to privatization.
Correct. But when you look at how LC has done it, right, there is that mix of, yes, players getting money, but also, right, the growing of the youth as well. So they are able to strike the balance. So it can be done. Right? And I'm thinking that if a club like Geylang or Tampines or whatsoever get privatized, confirm they will go for young players. Because to be honest, the current crop of players are their lifespan.
They're past their primes.
Yes.
But it comes back to the point, which is, it's true that how LCS has done with the privatization, both on investing in foreign players, investing in the young players as well, has been going pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's also come back to the risk.
Yeah.
Can these sponsors really invest this lump sum of money and actually have this? In fact, I would say, if you put it this way, we're not actually providing the right results at the moment as well.
That's true.
We only did it for one season, which we can say we are proud of.
Yeah.
But we're not specifically doing it every year in and out. And even the year that we did win, it was, if I'm not wrong, saved by Geylang as well.
Saved by Geylang saved by Tampines. That draw with Tampines, I still remember that game.
I thought the last game was Geylang.
Yeah, then they had a unfortunate draw with Tampines.
Yeah, so it's, we're not even dominating.
Yeah.
So it's not really the results that everybody expects to see.
Correct. But because of this, right, then I need to ask you this controversial question then. Do you actually think that looking at how our league is moving and so on, are we able to achieve the goal of Unleash 2034? of going to a World Cup?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I like to say I'll have to put the answer as no.
Ooh, okay.
Because let's just take it back to Fandi Ahmad's era.
Yeah.
If you say that was the prime football era for Singapore, right?
Yeah.
That's what, 10, 20 years ago?
About 20, 25, 26 years ago.
And how close have we been to getting to a World Cup?
Not that bad, but yeah, we never got it.
Exactly. We're not that bad, but it's been 20, 25 years, right?
Yeah.
And let's say that we are improving. You know, right now you're saying we've got great facilities, we are cultivating young players. Who is to say that other countries are doing the same as well?
Precisely, but the question is, it's a good starting point. And looking in Southeast Asia, right? Okay, we don't look at the Koreans, the Japanese first. They are miles and leagues above us. But let's look at the Southeast Asia right now. Everybody's moving at a fast pace. We are not even closing up on them. What used to be Laos 10 years ago, Vietnam 20 years ago used to be whipping boys, you know. Now we are getting our butt kicked by them, right? So if we want to achieve the 2034 target, we better start making improvements. Our first objective, beat the guys you're supposed to beat.
Yep, definitely.
Like your Laos, your Myanmar, your Kenya, your Papua New Guinea, your Solomon Islands. I mean, look at that. Malaysia beat Papua New Guinea 10-0 and we
drew 1-1.
Yeah, we drew 1-1 with them. So you look at that discrepancy. We need to start beating these boys first. And then after we look at beating the Malaysians, the Thailands, the Vietnamese. Only then can we start working on those bigger Asian guys.
Definitely. Why I don't think that 2034 goal is really realistic at all is so we did have a second prime, and I like to think it'll be Fandi Ahmad's children, Irfan or whoever. So I like to think that they practically carried the national team.
Which is true.
Yeah. And when they're out injured,
yeah, we're screwed. Okay, I got Abdul Razak, not too bad.
You know, like the meme, that 99% power of the national team, 1%. Just that. So it's and they are getting into their prime, but 2034, how old would they be by then?
I mean, 11 years time, you are looking at in their 30s and so on. So that's why we need to start working. But looking at how it's going right now, it's actually quite good because we have quite a number of players actually overseas right now in the Spanish leagues and so on. So people like Sashi Kumar, his son is there, you know, and many of these younger players, which I feel would help our national team in future. Yes, I feel that the next generation of players will be better quality than the current one that we have. But the question is, how much better?
True.
That is a question we will never know until they come back to Singapore, they play for our national teams against other countries, they finish their national service, and in their 19s, their 20s, they are playing for cups that can give them to train their skills. And we are looking at a 5 to 8 year spectrum right now because many of these people are in their 13, 14, 15-year-old stages. Yep. So we still have a long way to go. But in the meantime, you know, God bless our national team.
I would say let's stop investing on the men's team. Danielle Tan is in Europe right now, Germany.
Yeah, she's making Singapore proud with a contract with Dortmund. So it just shows that if you really work hard, it can be done. Right? It's not impossible. Like, for example, now, Ilhan Fandi is in Belgium, right? He's now part of the preseason training. Let's see how he goes the next 1 year when he's in Belgium. Can he perform to be even better than
what are your thoughts? What do you think?
I think he'll do well. I think he will. He's the type of player I feel that he will try his absolute best this 1 year. And I believe that he can do it. And he might be the first person to play in Belgium.
High expectations for him, definitely.
Yeah. But like I remember I saw the interview that Fandi did. He said among all his sons, Ilhan is the most talented one. So if he can go there, he can play well and you know, use the facilities and the training to advantage. Get KMSK Denzin, sorry if I mispronounce the name, get them out to League One. Right, Jupiter, top league of Belgian football. That's where you can really make a name for yourself, and you never know from there you can move somewhere else, right? Then the next question is, Fandi, then, is he going to stay at BG? He's way too good to be a BG platoon. He needs to start moving to another Asian team, to like a Jeonbuk or something like that, or maybe an opportunity to Europe, because as great as he is in BG, he needs to move somewhere else to make himself
I think
better.
it comes with the opportunities, or if people offer him a contract as well. Because if you can say he should move to a better team, but what if a better team doesn't offer him?
Actually, the better team did offer him. The club didn't want to sell him.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
Yeah. So that's the thing, But looking right now, we look at our players overseas in BG platoon. You have Ryan Stewart, you have Irfan and Iksan Fandi. Then you have Ilhan in Belgium. Other than that, we don't have anyone else. The rest is all based in Singapore, so it's not really a very good sign. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll have to look forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And speaking on SPL and national teams and so on, right? Have you caught the last game LCS played against Hougang? Or rather the games over the weekends?
I think you were there on the scene.
Yeah. Before I go into that, but I was very shocked by DPMM 6-0 win over Young Lions. I'm like, come on, man, you guys should play better. Right? I mean, you guys already didn't do well in SEA Games, and then you come back and you got hammered by DPMM. They are a team from Brunei. Come on, you are representing Singapore. Play to your absolute best, right? Please. Right?
I would disagree on that. I think they do play to their absolute best.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and only my opinion, I only think it's due to the team. Well, Young Lions is built of players that have to serve their national service.
Correct.
So it's kind of meshed together. 26 squad players?
Yeah.
Maybe
correct,
30.
Correct.
And I do not think that's like the most effective way to build our young talents. It don't make sense to just group. I'm actually gonna take one player here, which I think performed very well for his first season in Tampines Rovers. That player is actually Andrew Au.
Oh yeah.
So I actually know him personally.
Oh nice.
Yeah, so we're actually like primary school friends.
Yeah.
So I've known him since back then. So I've also followed his career for quite a while, since he actually went to the Singapore Sports School.
Yeah.
It's been upward progression. But it feels like a huge stop in progression when you actually he has no choice but to go on loan to Young Lions for these 2 years. So not only does his progress halt at the age of 20, and then he has to play in a separate team.
Yeah.
All to maybe just keep his fitness and then maybe go back to Tampines Rovers. And even then, Tampines Rovers may give him a contract. A bond that, hey, you can go on loan to Young Lions. But like what you said, nobody can perform on Young Lions because it's a big mesh together of players.
Correct.
So if he comes back and the club just says, hey, we saw your performance on Young Lions. Yeah, we don't want that anymore. Then isn't that an even bigger issue that the team Young Lions, as much as they give fitness to our young players, they're not necessarily cultivating any growth. Both shown by, of course, the SEA Games and then Young Lions losing to DPM. And it feels like a huge blockade in growth for young players.
So you're saying that it's just a stopgap solution?
Yeah, I think that, there's no really one definite way to stop it, because we have to serve national service in Singapore.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I feel that these players should have certain, in a way, they should stay with their parent club still. I don't think they should be allowed to go on loan to Young Lions. They should still be allowed to stay in, let's say for Andrew, in Tampines Rovers, continue to cultivate.
Correct.
Yes,
correct.
he still has to serve national service.
Yep.
But I think that they could maybe make him kind of like part-time. Similar to Gable Quack.
Yeah.
Where for him, he actually signed a part-time contract with Hougang United.
Yeah.
But he still plays for them like week in, week out. So same thing. I think that could be one of the solutions. I'm not saying it's a definite solution. I think many people have their own points of view.
Correct.
But it's not working. That's the main thing. Young Lions project is not working.
Correct. Here's the thing though. They used to actually do that. In the early days, players would actually go back to their original clubs. So if let's say you were from Geylang, you would go back to Geylang. You were from Hougang, you go back to Hougang. But here was the problem. The players actually abused it. Instead of going for training, they were partying, they were playing truant, and so on and so forth. Right. That to the point that MINDEF was like, you know what? Let's just cut this out. All of you go Young Lions because the reason is that with these Young Lions, they're able to control many of these players who are going where they're going and so on, because Young Lions is part of the government service and so on. But in the past, they actually do go back to their clubs. But because of people's abuse, that's why we have what we have today. So it's an unfortunate thing, but I hope that they actually allow these players to go back to their clubs. Yeah.
I that's a good point. I think if what you say on the past is due to abuse of things, I think that since they're looking for this 2034 step again, or even not even 2034, but the next SEA Games in 4 years?
Yeah, I think a couple of years.
That should just be our goal. We can't get hammered the same way.
Yeah, correct. We got to start setting short-term goals first. Let's start from SEA Games. Right. Then we look at the Mitsubishi Electric Cup.
Yep.
Then work our way to the Asian Cups and so on and so forth. If we can't even do that, no chance of us getting to the World Cup. No chance at all.
In my opinion, I think in recent years, the best thing that the Football Association of Singapore has done would probably be, in my opinion, the LionsXII project.
Ooh, that's a controversial one. That's controversial.
But that's in the next episode.
That's
one of the next episodes.
That's a controversial one. I will leave my comment for that on
another episode.
We'll talk about the LionsXII, right? Anyway, back to that, right? 6-0, and then you have Balestier and Geylang. My gosh, that game was really good, right? 3-2, and then of course Albrecht's doing their usual business, right? Beating Tanjong Pagar 4-0, but I personally, I was at the LCS game. LCS beat Hougang 3-0. And surprisingly, even Risto being sacked, they still played a very dominant game. Right? Literally, at the end of the game, we had 21 shots.
Okay.
Hougang had 1.
Okay.
They were literally parking the bus when they were playing the game. And you could see that's the thing. Risto instilled a way of playing that is so dominant, or rather, very attacking, that teams at Hougang could not handle them. They were very lucky that they got away with 3-0, right? Because if you look at the formation, the way they were playing, they were actually playing a 3-4-3. They were almost playing like a slower version of a Pep Guardiola Man City style play. Right, where they had a lot of passing, a lot of shooting from the outside, crosses and so on. But they were not scoring their goals, right? And I feel that, if this is a platform they can work on, I hope the new guy, when he comes in, right, he builds on this, because we need more of this type of players to actually, for our national team, for our ACL and so on. This is the type of play that Nishigaya should be doing, right? Right. If we saw that game that LCS played, the substitutes they made, the way that they play, we should have been beating Hougang 6-7-0, maybe even more.
Let's not talk about the Nishigaya thing, because we don't know how long he has left in the national team.
Okay,
but I'll stand for a neutral point. Okay, these results since Risto has left, right? It's very similar to when Coach Kim left.
Yeah.
When Luka Lalic actually came in, we won our next 3 games with ease. I think 4-1 against Hougang, and even the 9.
Then there was a 8-2 or 8-3
and a 9-0 with Young Lions. So it's, if you talk about attacking football after a manager leaves, like, that's completely natural, I think. But
correct.
What happens once this buff disappears, when teams start to actually figure out how we do not have, how we actually stick to this style? Because I think we can be broken down very easily. Yeah. Because of our squad depth.
Correct.
We don't have, in my opinion, like Coach Kim's style of rotating wingers anymore. Maxime is always on the right now. He's the one taking the shots.
Actually, they do switch,
but it's more. I find it more. He has to get the goals. He's a way better. He even played up striker once. I remember.
Yeah, correct.
But I remember when Coach Kim could do it way better, even with substitutes, where you had Farias, Gabriel, Maxime, even Hafiz Noor. You had way much more squad depth, unto the point where your better, like, in my opinion, better players such as Gabriel Quack and Farias Ramli were relegated to the bench.
Yeah.
Because there were even more better players. That's the kind of squad depth that.
Yeah. By the way, do you know that Maxime got subbed out in the last game?
For who did he get swapped out for?
So Shao Anwar.
Okay.
So they swapped him out because he's one of those rare games where he played terribly, but the others stepped up.
One of the rare games, yeah. But it's Shao Anwar is decent. He's getting. I still think he's getting him, but I like to think the overall squad depth is still
very, very true. If you look at this squad depth now compared to what it was last year or even the year before, right? It's very, very different because you forget the foreign players that we had. Yes, we had George Felipe at one point in time, which was good. But like you mentioned, your Gabriel Craig, your Faris Ramlis, right? Yep. Your Kim Shin Wook, even though he doesn't score a lot, but he provides a very, very good presence on the team. Your Shadan Sulaiman, right? Your Amirul Atli. These were quality players that you could call off the bench and know that they go in, they will perform, they will do their job. Right now, we are having a squad of players that may not be as good, but I feel that they're younger. People like LionsXII, right? People like Adam Swandi, this type of Hamishain, right? These are younger players who want to prove their worth, but I feel that the game time will eventually make them much, much better. Because let's be honest, Gabriel Craig and Faris Ramli, they reached the tail end of their prime. Their primes were at LCS. They are no longer what they used to be. Even though Gabriel Craig did an amazing job at Hougang and Faris Ramli is doing something amazing now. If you don't have the new blood to come in, you are having an aging squad. You see, you look, because I was looking at the lineup, Haris wasn't even in the lineup as well. They played Anu, Diego Lopez, Hamid Shine in the middle.
Yep.
Then they played Hafiz Noor and Maxime Lestienne. Noor Adam as a centre back, which cuts, right? And then you have Abdul Razak in the center. So that is a very,
very young squad.
Very, very young squad. And you have LionsXII and Zafan.
Yeah.
Right. So I understand why they did that. Right. Yes. And that's and they may not have the quality compared to what is in terms, but I mean, yeah, and on your point on the new managers, which is true but we have to see how we are moving forward, especially as we are building for our big game we are having on July 16. It could be a title decider game on July 16, where we play Albrechts at Jurong East.
I mean, it is a title decider, but I don't think Albrechts are going to hold anything back. I think they're going to be even more pissed off now. But if you look at the table, we've played one more game than.
Correct.
We played one more game than
Albrechts and Tampines.
Yep. Albrechts is 3 points ahead of us. So right now we're actually in second place as of this recording.
Correct.
And Tampines is the same points as us, or at 36. So
No, it's 33.
Oh, 33 then?
Yeah.
So Albrechts is 36.
So Albrechts is at top at 14 games with 36.
Okay.
We're at 15-33.
Yeah.
Tampines at 14-33.
Yeah. So it, like what everybody has been covering, I think it's gonna be a three-legged race, which I think in the recent years it's like one of the first three-legged race, because usually it's been LionsXII, Sailors, Albrechts. If not, it's just Albrechts.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to see.
Yep.
Yeah. See how we actually go from there.
And I also think this season is important for Tampines as well, because Tampines want to do well to get investments, because they are in the qualifying round of the AFC Cup next season. So if they win that round, we could get Hougang and Tampines in AFC Cup, which I think is very, very important, because Tampines for as good as they are, they should be in the AFC Cup.
Yep.
Yes, even though they got zeros for the past 2 competitions. Shout out to my Tampines fans. You drop our coefficient point. So please do well this AFC Cups. Okay, you guys got a big fat 0. We had to thank it for you. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So this season, I think is important for them as well because of their squad that they have. People like Joel Chu and Nakamura, Kyoga, right, and so on. If they can build on this next season, gain a few more good overseas players, get some investment, maybe a privatization, they can do a lot in the AFC Cup. Yeah.
Yep.
But as for LCS, we are doing we won that game. Do it well. And I think our next game against Tanjong Pagar, right? That should be an interesting game. Yep. Yeah, because Tanjong Pagar are in 7th place, right? 1 point behind DPMM. Because DPMM will start flying up the table right now that they have a good squad. They have used to a league system. I really want to see how DPMM will play against Arbrex. Will they give them a fight for it, or will they just like disappear?
I want to say I still highly doubt that. I think DPM, at least for this season, with them coming back into the league, has only shown with the 6-0 against Young Lions.
Yeah. And the draw with LCS.
That we won't talk about because Young Lions also drew with us.
Yeah.
I blame Callum for this. I told him. He said, I wanted Hougang at the bottom. I say, if you want Hougang at the bottom, we would have drawn with Young Lions. We drew with Young Lions.
That's true.
So they stayed at the bottom. But yeah, so coming back to it, my point of view is I don't think Brunei DPMM will do it this season. They have a better chance next season if they are super used to it already and they get a squad that can develop based on the league. But at the moment, I think Albrecht is still going to smash them.
But looking at this, right, looking at the table right now, we are 3/4 of the way through the season. There are 21 games. It's 24 games, right? This season, 3 games.
3 times 9.
No, minus yourself, so it's 8. 24 games. Okay. 24 games. We have 10 more, almost 10 more matches to go here in the SPL. Yeah, until 27 August. It's going to be interesting next season because looking at the table right now, it's really very competitive. Imagine next season, you have a DPMM who are getting used to the league. You have a privatization of Geylang. You have a 5-team fighting for the title. That would be amazing because it means that the league is getting competitive. Imagine Geylang, Tampines, LionsXII Sailors, Albrecht, Negata, and DPMM fighting for the league. Every game will be a blockbuster. That would be amazing. I would pay money to watch that. Even though it's not Premier League, but still, it is good. But that is for next season, right? As for this season itself, I think LCS we really need some stability, lah. I just hope that the new manager comes in soon. Then we can.
I'll still bring it back to say it's still a rebuilding process, lah. Yeah. I think that we cannot expect the results that we had with Coach Kim and even in the Asian Champions League also.
Yep.
I think that when I mean complete rebuilding, I thinking we need to at least have maximum 2 to 3 years of just not seeing the best results that we completely expect. That's being the maximum. I think past that, maybe the direction is
Correct. So because of the ACL's AFC's 5+1 rule, our foreigners are actually not too bad. We have Pedro, we have Super. Then if Maxime Lestienne still resigns, right, we have Max Lopez and Kodai. That would be our good 5-man ACL foreign team, and then the rest we fill up with our local players.
So actually talk me through this 5+1.
So 4 players plus 1 Asian player.
Okay.
Right. So that's the rule next season. So if you have four players, you have Super, Spanish, then you have Pedro Brazilian, you have Lopez Brazilian, you have Belgium, and then you got Kodai. Yep. So they can all start at the same time.
So right now, this season, are we having the 4+1?
This season was the 3+1.
3+1.
Yeah, next season is a 4+1.
3+1, but okay, so when it comes to signing these foreigner players, how many can we sign? I know we can only start next season before 4+1, right?
Yeah.
On the field.
Yeah.
But how many can we actually sign? Because if you look at LionsXII Sailors, we had Pedro Enrique out for injury with his cruciate ligament torn.
Yeah.
But we also did sign in Super, and we also did sign in Ibini.
Yeah.
So how does that actually work?
Okay. Speaking of Pedro, recently he just appeared on the AFC LionsXII Sailors video. So I think he should be back soon. Right. Should be back playing. But we also have Bernie, but my honest opinion, I don't think Bernie will stay lah. Right.
I don't think Bernie will stay, but he did take up the slot, and I'm not sure on his contract details as well, but we just got rid. So I'm going to take a short detour again, which is our transfer market history. We sold Kim Shin-wook and replaced him with Kodai. Kodai then got injured by his former team Albrechts.
Yep, which brought up the Abdul Razak.
Who scored 2 goals.
No, he has scored a massive amount of goals now. Right?
Sorry. I mean for the game after. But I remember he scored a hat-trick as well too.
Yeah.
But we had him up and coming. So he came up.
Yep.
And then we signed Ibini.
Yep.
So what do you think the transfer thought is there?
I think Ibini was more of a stopgap solution, right? Because so looking at Ibini, because I was looking at the Alcan game, he, we were all saying that he plays a lot like Lukaku, the hold up player. In fact, he was dropping so deep, he was playing almost next to Maxime LionsXII, right? I don't think he will fit our AFC style of play, because the problem is if we put Bernie Ibini there, we have no goal scoring threat.
Yeah.
If you want to put Bernie Ibini there, that means we have to play 2 strikers on top. You have to play Abdul Razak or Kodai as one guy who's the main guy going out to get the goals, and then you Bernie Ibini. So who are we going to sacrifice there? We will not. Is Bernie Ibini worth sacrificing for Maxime LionsXII, Diego Lopez, or Super, or even Pedro? Looking at his performance in the Singapore Premier League, no. He has scored 0 goals. He has 0 assists. Right.
I think it's a bit tough to say because of our striker issue right now. I'm happy for Abdul Razak. I think that he's performed amazing. Especially when I didn't have any expectations for him, because Kodai Tanaka came in with such, he came in with such like big expectations. He basically tanked all the expectations, and then he got injured, which is not his fault.
Yep.
But that was season ending, and that was what, the 3rd or 4th game in.
Yep.
So if he's coming back in, which most likely will, how long can Tanaka necessarily stay?
Oh, okay. Interesting. But so I'm just checking the news now.
Yeah.
Right. ACL has actually wrote that from 2023 onwards, they are allowed to have 6 foreign players in the quota, an increase from 2, right? And one of the players must be from an Asian nation.
So 5+1 lah.
5+1. So technically, if it's a 5+1, all of them can play.
Yep.
Right.
But do you need all of them to play? It's the issue here.
No, I would actually think that it would be good that if all of them can play. I mean, that would cause a lot of problems to the team. But the question is, would it be effective against the foreign teams? Because other than Diego Lopez, who has scored against ACL teams, no one else has scored. Right. Maxime LionsXII, yes, he got assists for that, but no one else has scored in the ACL. So would Bernie help us? I would feel that we would need a better quality striker, or at best, another good centre midfielder.
Okay, so I think we still have a bit of time left.
Yeah.
Let's take the current LCS squad. Okay.
Yeah.
So to go through the list. So we go through from the positions maybe.
Yeah.
So kind of like a buy, sell, or keep kind of thing. So we can start with, I think, Ibini Bernie. So what are your thoughts on him? who do you think you will put to replace him? Realistically?
That's a tough question. I don't have anyone on mind to replace him, but I feel that
you should replace him.
We should replace him. Because honestly, for what he's worth, he's eating up a foreign slot and he's not doing to expectation. It's not like super. He came in, you can see that he's performing, he's playing his hearts out every single game. Yesterday I heard one of the Hougang fans say, Bernie is like someone who just came in. He subbed in the second half, but the way he ran and his movement looks like he played 70 minutes of the game. And he was just jogging all over the pitch, he played 70 minutes for the game, but he was subbed in the second half around the 60-something minute.
Yeah.
So it just, his position isn't that good. His first touch is good though, right? But he isn't scoring. So if we keep him, then what's the difference of him and Kim Shin-wook then?
So then comes my next point, which is, can you say that he hasn't really adapted into the league? Because let's bring it back to Maxime Lestienne. It took Maxime about 6 months, or maybe not 6 months, about 3 to 4 months to actually, before he started really scoring the goals. But he was a fantastic runner.
Yeah.
He was doing stuff. You think we should give Bernie more time, or?
I think we can, but there's a difference between Maxime Lestienne. Yes, Maxime Lestienne took time to adjust to the league. But when he came in and played, you could tell that this guy got quality. The passes, the goals, the assists that he provided in the first 2 seasons, you could tell that this guy was doing his work. He was really, really good. Right? Whereas Bernie, you come in, you see the way he played, like, okay, like, for example, the second half when they took Razak out and they put Bernie, I'm like, okay, I just think that we just took off a goal scoring threat.
Just gotta rest his legs for the next game.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm not as confident as like compared to Maxime Lestienne or Diego Lopez when he first came in. Yeah.
All right. Let's next player that I'm in mind. So we know about the Maxime contract.
Wait, hang on. What about you? Would you replace Vernie?
Will I replace Vernie? Yeah. We should buy. We should sell him. We should just sell him. I think that he's a 1-for-1 trade of Kim Shin-wook. I feel that if the playstyle that we're going for couldn't be used with Kim Shin-wook, so how's it gonna be the same? Like what you said,
precisely.
If the most he stalled is big, he's a goal threat in the box when it comes to the corners. But how's that any different from Kim Shin-wook?
Precisely.
You just.
But at least Kim Shin-wook scores. He doesn't.
I would give Kim Shin-wook the fans. I'm not. I think that as much like hatred he got towards the end, I think it's undeserved. I think that I always remember when he scored against Albrecht in the Community Shield and won it for us.
Yeah, the bicycle
so
kick,
like, I can't really say anything. No, I can't say anything about Hassan Sani either.
Yeah.
So like, for me, I think it's a bit uncalled for. For the hatred that these players get. But for Bernie Ibini, I haven't seen enough. I like to think that I haven't seen anything. So it's very hard to say that I would keep him if the direction was to just sell Kim Shin-wook at the start of the season.
Yeah. I always believe that LCS are, I say this to a few LCS friends and even people in the football fraternity, that LCS doesn't need a tall or large striker. They need a mobile striker. They need someone like an Fandi, someone who can go into the hole, get the ball and shoot and go. So when they sign Kodai, when they sign someone like Abdul Razak, I'm like, yes, this is the type of player we need. And look at Abdul Razak. He is scoring the goals that you need. He may not be the tallest, he may not be the strongest, but he has the skills, the touch, the speed to score goals. And that's the type we need. If we now have a Kodai who's coming back to play and Abdul Razak, we will need that slot to be, do we want to invest in another winger or a midfielder? Or do we want to get another backup striker? By the way, sorry about the interruption. You were talking about
worries. So the other one, which will be the Maxime contract issue. So I like to think that they will have to offer him a higher paying contract. But Maxime is 33.
No, 34. He's not 30. He's not even 30.
He's not 30? I thought he was 30 plus already.
No, he's not even 30 yet.
Is he hitting 30?
He's hitting, he's 31.
Yeah. So he's 32 next year.
Yes. But his quality.
But his quality is there. But like what you said, we are playing into a young squad. Mm-hmm. If we offer him a huge amount of money of contract, he has quality. I don't deny that. I would love to just throw my money onto him as well, but we need to think as, can the club logically afford him?
Actually, I think the club can. What I'm thinking is that we should sign him on another 2 or 3 year contract.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Once he turns 35, we naturalize him as Singaporean, let him play for the national team for 1 to 2 years. Yeah.
You wish you were the government to naturalize him as a Singaporean.
I wish I was. But if Maxime LionsXII is someone I would naturalize and play for a national team, but I would feel that he still has game in him. At the age of 31, he is playing his butts off right now. Yeah. So I would keep him for maybe 1 or 2 more seasons, but after that, we won't know. Right?
But we have to see on the contract situation for that as well.
Yeah, I've not heard anything about it as well, so I don't know what's going on. But from the vibes that he's giving is that he most likely, if LCS do offer the right contract for him, he will sign, because his vibes has always that he likes Singapore. And I think Singapore is a nice country for him, that he might want to stay here in Singapore, you know. Yeah. And also we got to consider that next year we might have the Diego Lopez contract as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
yeah. That one also another one coming up. And then you also have your Pedro Enrique contract also.
Yeah.
So these are all the players that are slowly their contracts are coming up soon. So how are we going to maximize these players in next year's ACL? If we are planning to release them after or so on, we may never know.
Yeah.
But our big focus now is, I think the current group of players, who are we going to replace them with? Haris Harun is at his tail end of his career. You have your Anu, who's getting older as well. Right, you have your people in their 30s already, right? Like your Maxime LionsXII and so on. We got to start thinking 5 to 6 years down the road, right? Or maybe even the 3-4 years. Who are the people that we're bringing in to replace this current crops of people? Yeah, that's the important part. Yes, you have your Adam Fandi, your No Adam, which is really good, but Adam Fandi is like 26, 27. He still has 3 or 4 years of game time left. What's next?
Totally agree.
Yeah. What about you on that situation? What do you think about Maxime LionsXII?
I think it would be great if we can keep him. I think that he always shows good potential. He always works his socks off. I think that if we can afford him a contract, let's afford him a contract. Let's give it to him. Let's give him a one that's way better, pays him a bit more. But it comes back to my main point, which is I have a feeling we can't afford him. We invested a lot in the whole squad. We invested a lot into bringing other international players. We invested in our training center as well.
Yeah.
Money isn't just printed. It has to be earned somewhere.
Correct. But the thing is that it would take time for the money to come back. It doesn't come back so fast.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know if let's say the club itself would sit there and be like, hey, let's give him an improved contract. Somebody is gonna step in there and say we can't afford that. If we can, I think that's great. Let's give it to him. But there has to be reasons why a lot of our local players in the last season had their contracts just released or sold. So and they were players with big wages as well.
Yeah, but I also feel that they were no longer in their primes anymore.
They were definitely no longer in their primes, but in my opinion is, if you're doing a rebuilding club, a club can't just consist of only young players. Because look at like what you said, look at the mature senior players who are actually bringing the club in.
Yeah.
It's Maxime, who was in the club for maybe about a year. You have Diego for maybe about 2 years.
Yeah.
And past that, maybe only Haris Harun. I can't necessarily think of anyone else. Maybe Anu, but he was only back in for about a year. So I would say it has to be a split of the older players kind of getting replaced, but more of a slow transition. I think that currently with Super and Lionel, I think Lionel is a direct replacement for Haris Harun, and he's able to learn from him. And Lionel's about, 26, 27 as well?
Lionel is a defender though. Just remember that he's not a midfielder.
Yeah, but I mean, Haris used to play in that centre back. And he basically what I mean is like he gets to learn from these like senior players. Which I don't think that players such as like Zafan had the chance to. Zafan was maybe brought in just because Iswan was injured.
Yeah.
And I feel that they should have needed to learn a bit more from these players.
Correct. But imagine, but we'll end on this note, right? But imagine an LCS back three of Lionel, Pedro, and Super. That is amazing, you know. That
would be very defensive.
That would be super defensive. But if you play a lineup like that against Albirex, you can keep a lot of clean sheets.
I think we'll end the episode here. So we're still working things out. We will slowly figure it out eventually.
But more importantly, you know, thank you guys for watching this episode, our very first episode. In fact, we just wanted to talk a little bit about football, what's going on, and so on. And over the next weeks, we'll be updating on certain things like the Premier League, or what's going on in Singapore football, and eventually we'll cover more football topics. But for now, this is just a good starting point. And from us here at the Football Commenters, it's me, Simon, and my co-host Darius. We just want to say thank you all for watching, and we hope we'll catch us next week. We'll be doing another episode. We might talk about LionsXII next week.
Hope you guys can continue to support us.
Yes, and it's a good starting point.
We're trying out stuff.
Right. Give us feedback as well on how we can improve our formats or anything like that. We'll gladly take some advice. If not, on that note, thank you guys. See you all next week. Peace.